Welcome to the 28th episode of the J&J podcast. My name is John. Joe is off this week, and unfortunately, I'm left all by myself. Basically what happened was we were supposed to record the podcast over the weekend, and Joseph let me know late Monday night that he couldn't record it. We wanted to get it done over the weekend, but he got busy and everything, and so we couldn't do it, unfortunately. And so since he let me know late Monday night, on Tuesday, I kept asking everybody, oh, hey, can you guest host on the show? Can you guest host on the show? And because it was just so last minute, because I needed to post the episode on, today, Wednesday, the 6th, it just didn't work. Nobody was able to do it. And that's why I'm alone today. And because I'm alone, I'm not going to give you guys a full-blown episode, because, frankly, who wants to listen to me ramble for an hour? The whole point of a podcast is to kind of hear banter. And to listen to one person talk for an hour is really boring. I mean, some people can pull it off. I'm just somebody that can't. But Joseph is off. First things first, I want to give a huge shout out to Mark Fro Hungry for covering me last week. I had let Joe know earlier in the week that I knew I wasn't going to be able to record for that week's podcast. So to find a guest host, and Mark Fro Hungry was able to step in and do that for us. And so I was in Brooklyn taking care of my grandfather. He's not doing the greatest, but he's all right. Just your love and your prayers is all we need. By the way, if you do hear a noise in the background, that would be my air conditioner going on. It is like 95 degrees out or something. It is just too hot for me to keep it off. But I just want to kind of talk to you guys, maybe just a little bit about the podcast and what's going on for the future, and what's going on currently, and what you can expect. Because I don't want to talk about topics and stuff without Joseph being here. I just feel like it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right to have a full-blown episode when it's just me. Next week, for the 29th episode, it'll be my birthday episode. I'm turning 21, not this Friday, but next Friday. So, the episode airing on the 13th will be my birthday episode. Then after that, you'll get a regular episode. And then, from that week, from the 24th to the 30th, I will be flying up to Rochester. I'll be flying out Sunday the 24th, and I'll be up there up until Friday, so almost an entire week, which is very exciting for me, because I almost never get to see Joe. Last time I saw him, I want to say, was in October or November. He came down and he spent one night in Staten Island, because he was in Jersey, so I got him to come down to Staten Island and spend just one night, and then we drove him back up. We did have a very good time, though. So now I'm flying out to Rochester many, many months later, and it's also the first time I'm actually seeing Joe in person since starting this podcast. Every single podcast you've listened to with the two of us has been recorded online. We've never recorded a podcast in person, which is kind of crazy to think about, since most podcasts are recorded in person with your friends. We are just two best friends, though. We've expressed it many times, though. We are 8 hours away from each other. So it's kind of nuts. So we're both very excited to do that. And we have a couple of awesome things planned for the week. We don't know if we're going to do many podcasts over the course of the week, or if we're just going to do maybe just one podcast that will release that kind of has everything we did kind of jumbled into one. But we'll definitely do a podcast together while up there. I'm bringing the microphone up. I'm pretty excited for that. We have a few ideas of stuff we want to do. We kind of wanted to record. We both really love playing Monopoly on the Xbox, which I know sounds really lame, but trust me, it could ruin some awesome friendships. So we want to have a Monopoly episode, because that's good, because that takes up about an hour and a half's time. Trust me, the stuff we say to each other while playing video games, either that or Call of Duty or just anything, can be an entire episode, because it's just so funny. But yeah, so we'll be doing that, and there's also some discussions about with these two fans of ours up in Rochester. They want to have us on their film talk show on YouTube. I really don't know their names, unfortunately. Joseph never gave me their names, but we might be working something out with them. So we might do something with them. That'd be kind of cool. And if we do something on their YouTube channel, we'll post a link in the description of the next episode. But yeah, so that's so we'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff while I'm up in Rochester. We're pretty excited for all that. And then after that, the podcast is gonna shift focuses a little bit, and I'm only gonna give you just a little bit of. I'm gonna tell you just a little bit about what's going on right now in my world. Basically, I have taken the liberty of creating an event with the city, really the borough of Staten Island, and it's called Staten Island Podfest. New York City, Manhattan has a Podfest, California has a Podfest, and I believe that Staten Island need one. So, and basically what it would be a weekend-long event where different podcasts that are localized in mainly Staten Island would perform at a venue in Staten Island that's almost confirmed. So basically, what I did was, the first thing I did was I reached out to my friend Sal Colatonato on The Slant. Well, The Slant's a podcast, what he does with his good friend Anthony Mansagno. Definitely go check out their podcast. They do an awesome weekly comedy podcast. Really, they do a great job. Seriously, go check them out, The Slant. They're on every podcast network that we're on. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, look, I have this idea. What do you think? And he said, dude, I love it, go for it. So what I did was I sent out a lengthy email to the borough president of Staten Island, Mr. James Otto. And James Otto loved it. And so basically, the director of communications for the borough of Staten Island reached out to me just a few days later, told me that the borough president really loved the idea, and I was really shocked, because when I sent this email, I really thought this would never get read. And so basically, 3 weeks passed by until our meeting, and we have a lot of shows who want to be a part of this. And then I had my meeting with the borough president's office. They loved my proposal, and as of right now, things are going full speed ahead. Now I don't want to give a lot more information other than that. Because when we're gonna have a big bang, like when everything's official, set in stone, contracts are signed, this, that, and the other thing, we're gonna have a whole big bang of episodes. I will say this though, is that I'll be going on a full-blown media tour. One of those things is with our friends over at the Late Night with Johnny P show. I will be a guest on Late Night with Johnny P, and we're going to have a few people who are part of the festival, who are going to be performing at the festival, also perform on the Late Night with Johnny P show. So basically, tickets are free to sit in the audience of that show. It does air on TV. If you're in Staten Island, FiOS channel number 34, I believe it is, Thursday nights at 11. And that taping is going to happen on August 25th at 7 p.m., and it'll air sometime in September. Don't have an air date yet, but it'll film then, and it's pretty exciting. It really is exciting. And of course, I want all of my friends and family to all be there, because we're gonna have this whole big show on TV, and it's gonna be great. And we're gonna announce a whole bunch of things there, and it's gonna be really funny. It's gonna be a really good big time. And we're just really excited for it. So tickets for that are going to come out in late July, I believe. And they're free, and you can go to johnnyptv.com and request those tickets. And we'll let you guys know as soon as those are available. But we really love to see as many people come out. We'll all take pictures and stuff at the end of the show. So please, come on by, stick around. And so after July ends... and we have our whole thing up in Rochester, the podcast is going to shift focuses to that. And I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be... I think you guys are going to like what we've come up with. And I know I'm very happy with this whole thing. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast. And we have some amazing shows who are going to perform live. Dates are still being configured. And we're about like 90% sure on a venue. But it's looking good. Things are looking good. We have some amazing people going to come and perform, and it's pretty exciting. Other than that, Joseph and I have been talking about kind of reformatting the podcast. We definitely think some new life needs to be pushed into the podcast. I think maybe we need to have maybe like more skits. More activities, more segments, maybe just a little bit more structured. We think that might be a better way of doing the show, and we think it might be better, for your listening. Because the reason why we do this, the only reason why we do this podcast every week, we dump the money in to providing this show for you each and every single week, is because you guys listen, and we wouldn't do this if you weren't listening. And so basically, if you check our records, it's kind of crazy to say this, but we have been doing this for 6 months, never missing a week. We've done every episode, every week, never missing a week. I mean, look, Joseph missed today, I missed last week, but, the show in general, we've found a way to make it work each and every single week, and we're grateful for that. Even when back on the days when we were on Blab, we had an entire episode deleted. Like, we recorded a whole new episode for you, found a whole new platform. We love doing this, and we love that you guys listen. And so, but we want to breathe new life into the podcast. We want to make this more exciting and more enjoyable for you, more fan interaction, that stuff. So we're definitely, we're kind of, as of right now, we kind of have the stuff that we're going to be doing for the next few weeks. After that, though, we're going to try and really structure the show out more and just create an overall better listening experience for you guys. Other than that, life is well. Just everything's going on. I launched a new design on my website. I completely revamped the entire website, made it a lot more user-friendly, a lot better for you guys. Go check that out, www.jmadigan.com. Other than that, I hope you all had a great 4th of July weekend. Like I said, I wasn't going to keep this podcast long. I just want to provide something for you guys so so you're in the loop of what's going on. Other than that, though, Joseph and I will be back with a whole new episode next week. Part of the thing is with recording with Joseph, and I don't know if we've gone over this before, but I'll let you guys know. Basically, Joe had a problem with his old roommate, because Joseph dorms at college, he went over the summer, and that roommate moved out, and the way it works over there is that each dorm has someone provides the router, and in this case, the other person was providing the router for Joseph. And so, basically, Joseph got a new roommate. He brought in his router. And apparently that router was horrible. We tried recording the show, and we couldn't even do it. The internet kept dropping out. We could barely even have a conversation with you guys, with each other. It was ridiculous. So basically, the only time to record the show now is literally Saturday and Sunday. And so it makes it a lot more difficult because Joseph and I are very busy people. We have a ton of things we have to do, and when you're constrained to 2 days, we've been making it work, but it gets hard, and sometimes you run into dilemmas like this, you run into problems like this, but we're gonna try and fix that. Joseph is gonna get a new router, so that won't be a problem, and yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Sincerely, Joseph and I are grateful for you guys that you tune in, you listen to us each and every single week. Please go online, buy the podcast merchandise, www.jnjpodcast.spreadshirt.com. That link is in the description of our of our podcast every single episode. And other than that, Joseph and I will catch you next week. And peace out, Cub Scouting.